and welcome to another BookTube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books, and happy new year. It's 2020 now. It's 2020, which not only is a new year, it's a new decade. Very exciting, isn't it, to be a new decade? I don't remember what I was doing at the last new decade. I only really, when I remember New Year's, I only really remember 2000 because I was living in fear that the millennium bug was going to ruin everything and we were all going to die. Because when I was 13 when it was the millennium, and yeah, I lived in a bit of a fear of dying climate. But yeah, but that's not today. Today is my favourite things from the month of December. Now you may be able to hear I've got a bit of a cold. I'm actually on the other end of it. Yesterday I was in a right old state. I was just laying on the sofa feeling very sorry for myself. I hadn't had much sleep the night before last because I've got a cough that's just nothing. It's just coughing. I mean, hopefully you won't hear it, but it's just, yeah, it's just coming. There's just nothing there, but I'm just coughing and spluttering and being silly girl. But yeah, today we're going to talk about my favourite things from the month of December. And whenever I do this, I always try to make it so that it's not just like Christmas presents, Christmas presents, Christmas presents. But actually in the month of December, there's lots of things that I loved and had a really, really lovely time, even though it feels to me as though a lot of December was taken up from David's toothache. But yeah, he's... oh, actually, one of my favourite things is that David is now better from his toothache. So David had a really, really, really bad toothache, which had been going on for a couple of years. He's a very, very naughty boy, and he hadn't been and sorted it out. And it had got so bad that he went, hey! You know you're a naughty boy. And he'd been to the dentist, got an emergency appointment. They were going to take it the week after and he just couldn't cope, so we had to take him to A&E, and he went and had emergency dental surgery. And then the recovery, oh god, it was just about 2 weeks of just pure misery, which is not how we normally do December. But he is better now, thanks to a combination of having his teeth taken out, antibiotics, getting an electric toothbrush for Christmas. By the way, we both got electric toothbrushes for Christmas. When does the novelty of that electric toothbrush wear off? Because we are still both having a bloody lovely time with our electric toothbrushes. David's had 2 teeth taken out here, so he's got 1 left up here. And the dentist said to him, don't forget about that guy. So he takes his electric toothbrush and like has a little clean around there. But love the electric toothbrush. So yeah, David is now better, which is one of my favourite things from the month. So hurrah, hurrah for that. I've got 2 favourite TV favourites from the month. The first one, obviously, being Gavin and Stacey. Gavin and Stacey is a series. By the way, a lot of people always ask me for feel-good UK or British films. If you want to go a little step further than that, and you want a UK or a British feel-good series, then please, please, please watch Gavin and Stacey. If you haven't watched it before, it's fantastic. It's 3 series, plus now 2 Christmas specials, about a chap called Gavin and a woman called Stacey, who meet through work. Gavin lives in Essex and Stacey lives in Wales, in Barry in Wales. So they're about a 6-hour drive from each other, and they meet and they decide to meet up, and they fall in love almost instantly. And then it's all sort of like coming together of 2 really different families, like Gavin's family in Essex and Stacey's family in Barry, and there's all these side characters. And although Gavin and Stacey are the title characters, they're not necessarily the main characters, and they're not my favourite characters. Gavin's mum, Pam, is one of my favourites, and there's just so many, like, it's so normal, it's so ordinary, but it's done in such an extraordinary way. Like, everything is just about like daily life. Like one episode is just about them getting an Indian takeaway and it's all just about that. And yeah, it's just fantastic. But there was it's been gone for 9 years. So the season 3 finished 9 years ago, and there was always, we're never going to do it again, we're never going to, like, that's it. And then in May this year, James Corden, who writes the show and is now a massively successful TV presenter for the Late Late Show, I think it is, in America, tweeted saying that they'd written a script for Gavin and Stacey, a Christmas special, and they were pulling it together. It was going to be out this Christmas Day. So since May, I've been looking forward to it because it's just one of mine and David's favourite programmes. And it didn't disappoint. It was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed it. What I will say, and I don't want to give any spoilers for those who haven't watched it, Dave and I have now watched it twice, is that I feel like it definitely leaves it open for another series or another special, because something happens right at the end of the episode where you're like, oh, well, that's got to be like explored. So yeah, really, really good. It felt the same. The first time I watched it, I didn't laugh as much as I normally do, but on watching it again, there's some really good lines in there. Like James Corden has got some really good lines in there, as the character Uncle Bryn, played by Rob Brydon. But really, really loved it, really enjoyed it. Looking forward to revisiting it and seeing what happens with it. I wonder if they will manage to get something else out. I know everyone's schedules are so mad now, so yeah, hopefully it won't be another decade before we find out what happens to all those characters. And the other TV favourite I've got, which is something that I'd never even heard of, David started watching it. Actually, this sort of links in with another thing. So this isn't a new thing that's one of my favourites, but one of my favourite things in the world is the downtime between Christmas and New Year. I just love sort of like going to bed late and then waking up and sort of sitting on the sofa for a bit, reading with a cup of tea and like not really having to be anywhere. And we've had a lot of that in between Christmas and New Year, which has been lovely. But one of those things that we've discovered through sort of having this downtime is a series that's been on the BBC, which was originally on in like April, I think, called Race Across the World, where you follow 5 couples. So it could be like friends, a father and son, husband and wife, and they are racing from London to Singapore, and they've got to go via, they're not allowed to use any air transport, and they're given the price of an air ticket. So a direct flight from London to Singapore costs around £1,300, and they're given £1,300 each. So within a pair you get £2,600, and you have to get via land and rail from London to Singapore, and it takes them 50 days, and they can work for their money, and they have to negotiate like costs and things like that. And we just loved it. It was really, really good. It was, how many episodes was it, David? 6 episodes, and they sort of have a checkpoint at the end of each episode, so they all catch up with each other, and then they let them go in the order that they arrived at the checkpoint. And I really, really, really loved it. It's on iPlayer now, so if you're looking for something sort of like 6 hours worth of just like enjoyment, like you really get behind some of these people, and yeah, really, really, really loved it. Had not heard of it. And we're going to be looking for more things like that. We saw that there's something coming up soon about living in Alaska, and they take couples out there to live in Alaska and see who thrives, etc, etc. But yeah, very, very much enjoyed that indeed. Got some stuff to show you. This is actually something I got for my birthday at the end of November, but we didn't play it until December, and it's Balderdash. This is a really old board game. I remember my mum and dad had this when I was younger, but they've rebranded it, and they've rebranded it in the most beautiful of boxes. It's really, really lovely, and they've also changed it around a bit. So Balderdash is a game, let me see if I can get one of the cards out. Balderdash is a game where you have to sort of use your creative mind to, excuse me, is one of those coughs? Nothing, just nothing there. You have to, the original premise of the game was that you were given a word, and you had to make up a, or try and think of a definition for that word. Then the person, so you've got a group of people, say there's 6 of you playing, you all make up a definition for this word, apart from one person who's called the Dasher, who's got the actual definition of the word, and then the Dasher will read out your definitions along with the actual definition, and you have to pick which one you think is the right one. Very much enjoyable game. I'm sure you've all heard of it, it's been going around for a long time, but then they've redone it with different categories now, so as well as the original word, you've also got peculiar people, incredible initials, marvellous movies, and laughable laws. So it's got some different things to it. So for instance, peculiar people, Rose Cecil O'Neill. So you'd have to write down what you think Rose Cecil O'Neill was famous for, and it turns out that she invented the Cupid doll. I've no idea what the Cupid doll is. Incredible initials is COA, and you have to make up some initials for that. And this one is Car Wash Operators Association. The movie is Arsène Lupin, and the tagline for that movie, which you have to make up, is "A jewel thief is terrorising the wealthy of Paris." And then the laughable laws, it says, "In Somalia, Africa, it's illegal to carry old chewing gum stuck on the tip of your nose." So if you're ever in Somalia, don't do that. So yeah, so very much enjoy playing that. Played it a few times now, and think it's very good. So if you were a fan of the classic, then definitely get to the new guy. Then my favourite book for the month, and I mentioned this I think I mentioned this in my mid-month wrap-up. It was The Christmas Chronicles by Nigel Slater. Not just my favourite book for the month, one of my favourite books ever. I listened to the audiobook of this, but I'm definitely going to read it in this, it's called This Year now because we're in 2020. This is going to become a sort of ritual of mine up until Christmas. So it starts, not only is it a book with like amazing recipes and beautiful like food photography, it's also just got like normal lovely photography. It's beautifully pulled together, and it's like a memoir, and it has Nigel's memories and associations with some of these recipes in here, and it was just a pure joy to listen to. I absolutely loved it, and I listened back to some of it as well because I just loved it so much. But it starts on the 1st of November, so I think what I'm going to do this year, already planning for November, I'm going to start reading the little excerpts on the days that they're there for. So the 1st of November, and then we skip to like the 4th of November, which is the joy of stuffing. And some of the like the food photography in this is just unreal, but so is just the normal photography. And yeah, I can only describe this as an absolute gift. It's just so wonderful, and yeah, I loved it. I loved it, and I can't wait to come back to it. I feel almost sad knowing that I can't read it again until November, but I know I'll have a lovely time when I am reading it. And then, as I said, I don't normally like, in my December favourites, just sort of like reeling off Christmas presents that I got. But one Christmas present I got, excuse me, oh God, one Christmas present I got is something that I've wanted for such a long time. I think David might have known this. I was a really big, and still am, fan of Kate Nash when I was growing up, and I loved her music, and I had her albums, and I knew them all off by heart, and I used to dress like her, and I just loved her. And her first album, Made of Bricks, David got me on vinyl, which was just a lovely treat because I love this album. I know all the songs on it, and I know the order in which they run because I just used to listen to the CD over and over again, and to have it on vinyl is just such a lovely treat. So I was really delighted to get this, and this is going to be one of those vinyls that goes really thin, you know, because you just play it so much. So that's what's going to happen with that. But yeah, thanks David for that. He also got me these lovely dungarees from Joni. But yeah, lovely time. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, there was one more thing. And that is a video that I made in December. So as you will know, I was doing Vlogmas in December, which meant I did 24 videos from the 1st of December till Christmas Eve. There was only 23 though, because at the height of David's toothache, I missed a day. So hopefully you'll all forgive me for that. But one of my favourite videos that I made, not even in Vlogmas, just this year, has been my Christmas cook-off video. So my friend Adam and I, who I've known since I went to school, he is an incredible chef, and not only like he can really like, as well as he's not just one of those people who can follow a recipe and the food turn out really well, because I consider myself one of those people, and I'm quite pleased that when I follow recipes everything seems to always go right. But Adam can sort of like pull stuff together, and he knows what flavours go with what, and he's just incredibly talented with cooking. So it was very exciting that we sort of come up with this idea to do a Christmas cook-off based on the idea of a programme here called Ready Steady Cook. So I bought him £10 worth of Christmas ingredients, he bought me £10 worth of Christmas ingredients, and we made a couple of meals, and we just had such a good time doing it. And I did screw him over a bit because I bought him after 8 cheese, but we had a really good time, and I really love doing it, and it's definitely something we're gonna try and do a bit more often. So yeah, so go back and check that video out if you didn't see it. I will link it down below. And yeah, so that's it for me. What was that, David? What was that? Snotty. Oh, I thought it was a pop-off, and it wasn't. It was a snotty. So that's it from me for, well, I'm filming this in 2019, but Happy New Year, because you'll be watching this in 2020. And I'll see you all again soon for my best books of 2019, which I'm very excited about filming. See you then. Bye!